movie review here. We haven't done one of these in a while, Preston. I figured now would be a good time as any to do one. And for those of you who don't know, sometimes we go through racing movies, we review Days of Thunder and stuff like that before. But now, I figured since this is a Formula One heavy episode, we're going to do a Formula One movie. And here's my thing. Formula One has always been known for great rivalries. Niki Lauda, James Hunt in the 70s. Alan Prost and Ayrton Senna in the 80s, 90s. Michael Schumacher and David Coulthard. Maybe Verstappen and Leclerc in the future. But from 2014 till 2016, it was a rivalry within one organization. And that was Mercedes, and that was against Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. And this movie is called Silver Wars. And if I had to name it, it would be called Formula One's Last Great Season.
Ooh.
It's a fan-made movie made by Floz, F-L-O-Z, if you want to go look it up on YouTube, and we'll put a link on social media when this episode comes out. And it's about the 2016 championship. And this isn't your typical documentation of a season where there's an announcer saying, you know, the lights at Daytona are out and we are getting ready. You know, it isn't like that. There's no commentary in there except for the race announcers and driver interviews, mainly Hamilton and Rosberg. Mm-hmm. So during the Monaco race, instead of, you know, they were just like, Ricardo messed up in the pits. You hear the race announcers say it, but you don't hear a miscue from the pits calls Ricardo to forfeit his first position to Lewis Hamilton at the Monaco Grand Prix. You don't hear that. You don't need that.
No.
This is so well done that you just need the commentary, the sounds, and it's a 2-hour documentary. It's long, but folks, it is well worth it. This documentation of this season is one of the best I've ever seen, because I remember watching it from lights out at Australia to checkered flag at Abu Dhabi. What a fun season. This was the season I want every season in Formula One, because it came down to the wire. Hamilton, Rosberg, all the way through the season. In fact, in Hungary, I don't know if you saw this race, and you look up the 2016 Hungarian Grand Prix, and I'm going to ruin it for you here, but it's okay. Watch it still. At the start of the race, Rosberg is on the pole, Hamilton's second. The lights go out, they go up the turns. Rosberg's in the wrong mode. Whatever mode it is on the engine, I don't know. He's in the wrong mode. Mm-hmm. Hamilton sees the blinking line on the back. We all see it. Around the world, we see it. It's like, what does that mean? Hamilton goes to the inside. If you're coming up to a right-hander, and so he goes to the inside. Rosberg blocks. Hamilton in the grass, goes off, spins, hits Rosberg, both Mercedes out, lap one.
Wow.
That's where Max Verstappen got his first win.
Oh, okay.
In 2016. Wow. And watching that live, Preston, that's it. You remember when you said when Grosjean wrecked and that big fireball, it wasn't as spectacular as that, and thank God everybody's fine, but just that OMG moment.
Yeah.
That moment you'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton going off, Hamilton covering his face because what happened? Throwing the steering wheel. That cost more than my car can ever cost.
Yeah.
Out of the cockpit. It was such an amazing season. That's why I say this is the last great Formula One season. Because after this and Rosberg winning the championship, it's been nothing but Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton. Since forever. This was such a great documentation of that season. A fan-made documentation. So the guy took the time to make this 2-hour movie, and he did it with such good music, good everything. Didn't talk once. Just put it all together. Of these two powerhouses, these two egos. Not even egos. The yin and the yang. Total opposites. And it was so good, and for that, I'm going to give it 5 lug nuts. And I think it's worth a watch.
I'm going to check. I know that you sent it to me last night, and I didn't get the chance to really even start to watch it, but the way you just described everything, I've got to see it at this point.
You will love it, man.
I've got to see it.
Because I know those season reviews you're talking about, and it's Michael Schumacher comes up with David Coulthard. You know, it doesn't. Yeah. There's no need for that. There's also one called The Origins of the Silver Wars. that I want to watch talking about the 2014 season.
Okay, that's the one I had found at first.
Yeah,
and you said no, it's not that season. It's this one.
Although that's good, and it shows you why the 2016 season was so awesome in Formula One. That I want to get back to that. That's why I want to see people compete with Mercedes, because every sport, regardless of what it is, has their rivalries. Hockey has the Red Wings versus the Avalanche. Baseball has the Yankees versus the Red Sox. Basketball has the Boston Celtics versus Los Angeles Lakers. Formula One is all. NASCAR had Earnhardt versus Gordon. Formula One needs that rivalry.
Yeah.
And I dare say it's going to be Leclerc and Verstappen.
That would be a pretty good one.
It would be a really good one, and I think that would bring a lot of passion back, at least for me, because if it's just Hamilton and the best racing's for 9th, and the race in the championship's over 3 races before the end of the season, why watch the rest? But if it comes down to the end, and even with Hamilton winning, Rosberg just had to finish, I think, 4th or better. Finished 2nd, won the championship. Hey, go check it out. Again, 5 lug nuts. Here from In the Marbles. It's a lot of fun. I'll post it on social media. Check it out. It's worth a watch.
I'm gonna check it out for sure.
It was a really good film. Again, 2 hours, but I think you'll be stuck there for 2 hours. And if you watch that season, you'll remember it. It's a lot of fun. I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to see it and review it with me.
I'll let you know my review of it next week when we record next week.
Fair enough, man. But that was our movie review. Right now, we're gonna get into our final thoughts. Get our driver of the week and Forgotten Tracks in Racing. So we're going to go ahead and get into that right now.
Hey race fans, I'm Preston from In the Marbles. Like what you just watched, be sure to hit the subscribe button below. And if you're looking for more content, you can find some videos right here to the left of me.